It's the start of another week. You're watching the Pulse on the Joy News channel. This afternoon, the Coalition of Land Adequate Associations are calling for an independent audit into government's redevelopment of prime state lands across the Greater Accra region. We have details as the allodial owners of the prime cantonments and Labone land say a probe will put to rest claims of land grabbing in the area. We'll get to the very latest on the policy. Plus, Cyber Security Authority raises alarm over the surging job scams across the country. We have details as the authority says it has received 15 of such incidents through its reporting mechanism and contact with victims, losing over 124,000 Ghana cedis. And later in the bulletin as well, Ghanaians disappointed in the poor performance of the Black Stars in their first opening match at the AFCON following a humiliating defeat to Cape Verde last night. Your impressions of the game would explore all of that and the team's chances moving forward here on the Pulse. Be my guest, the Pulse as always is brought to you by Global Communities, Digny Lu, Affordable Safe Sanitation. We're on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125. I'm Blessed Sugan. Joy News is independent, fearless and credible. Welcome to the Pulse. Well, today there's a strong push for an independent audit into government's redevelopment of prime state lands across the Greater Accra region. The Coalition of the Land Associations say in a bid to prioritize and also optimize the use of public lands, cantonment and Labone and other parts of the Greater Accra region, earmarked for the redevelopment of the public bungalows and also housing units, there will be a need for government to carry out an independent audit. A statement released by the Works and Housing Ministry has fought off claims that the policy is a land grabbing move, adding that the redevelopment of the program dates back as far as 1992. But before we get into the details, here's a report capturing the concerns of this group.
Brick and mortar, the key ingredients giving life to government's redevelopment program. These men at work have a simple task: to optimize government's prime lands, especially this building at Labone in Accra. Although government says it aims to provide more accommodation for the ever-growing number of public servants, concerns are emerging about transparency and the possibility of a land grab. At the work site, I met Jeffrey Tete, spokesperson of the Coalition of Law Associations, the allodial owners of this prime land.
This is a very beautiful idea, which has been in place for quite some time. I am told since 1992. Unfortunately, the problem we have with this particular redevelopment scheme that government is undertaking is that once they develop one or two of the units, the rest of the whole estate is sold out to private hands. And this is where the issues come up. We want government to come clear, and our call now as Alodia owners, since we gave out the land, the people of La give out the land to government for housing purposes for government officials. We want to get an audit. We want government to come up with an audit of all government, facilities, talking about housing facilities. We want an audit so that we will know how many government has redeveloped, how much has been given to private hands. And if they say it is not in private hands, then together with government, we can go around and check it. And I'm happy the media is doing this. We all go around, tell you the story, you get to know, you let the whole world know what is happening so that government will come clear.
Our next stop was the Roman Reach community. This property, according to government sources, used to house former senior members of the judiciary. Assembly member for the area, Adam Yusuf, tells Joy News, although the initiative is laudable, it should not be handed over to private individuals after its development.
Property, one tenant, and that tenant was a prison officer. And then now, as you can see, we have about 6 units property here, which can house about 3 directors from the same unit or from a different government unit, and which is laudable because the The land size of this area over the years was like an acre, but you have a single house, a very small, tiny house in the building. But now, if it's redeveloped, I mean, you can take more people, yeah. Unlike other places, it takes about 8, but this one is a single unit.
Wow, and would help, definitely.
This thing will really help.
Except that you fear that it shouldn't go into private hands.
That is our fear, because as you can see at the other side, we have a lot of private developers also pursuing to grab those properties from the state. And to me, I don't advise that the state should lose it to the private developer, because they will in turn use it for business and make millions of dollars out of the business, whilst the state officials will be struggling.
This housing unit you see here at Labone, one of the prime areas within the Greater Accra region, forms part of government's redevelopment policy. The Works and Housing Ministry explains that it forms part of a broader policy to optimize the use of prime state lands. Upon completion, this very facility with work underway will serve as the primary residence for senior state officials, ministers, superior court justices and other officials of government and the civil service. Blessed Sugan reporting for Joy News, Labone, Accra.
And I'm back here in the studio bringing together my colleague Michael Ashale, who's also looking at the details of the statement from the Ministry of Works and Housing. Let's get to it. First off, Michael, what's the response from the ministry in terms of allegations of collusion to sell some of these properties, which we understand are purely state lands?
Well, the ministry says, first of all, strongly refutes the allegation and states that there has been no such sale of property. The facts are that the current developments taking place at the official residence of the late Justice forms part of government's redevelopment plan. Now, the program, it says, dates as far back as 1992, which has since inception been widely implemented by successive governments within the Greater Accra region, specifically in Kanda, Cantonment, West Ridge, and Roman Ridge. Now, on 14th May 2018, Cabinet approved a revised scheme regarding the program to include other neighborhoods such as Osu Ringway, Airport, Residential Area, again, Labone. Now, for the avoidance of that, the statement strongly says land has not been sold as it is mischievously being alleged and remains the property of the state. The program is rather a cost-effective undertaking which ultimately gives optimal benefit and ensures efficient use of government lands.
And now, what about the concerns, relating to redeveloped lands and also the properties? Will they be handed over to the private sector, or this will go back to, government chest?
Well, it says that currently the ministry is redeveloping 4 such structures, which sit on about 3 acres of land in Roman Ridge, which formerly served as official residence for a late Supreme Court judge, appeals court judge, and a minister of state and a retired chief director. Diving to the question you asked, it says that upon completion of this particular redevelopment, the 3-acre land will now have 20 housing units for ministers and other senior government officials, and 4 units for superior court judges. A memorandum of understanding for this arrangement with the Judicial Service has since been signed by the Chief Director. It's an impression that when they are done, they're going to hand over these to public servants or people that work closely with government.
Michael Ashale, my colleague, looking at the statement from the Ministry of Works and Housing. Now, John News through the Voice of America and the United States Agency for Global Media has been engaging residents of Samrabong in the Western region on the health effects of illegal mining. Some who were watching the documentary for the very first time expressed shock and the devastating impact of galamsey on public health, and also highlighted in the Joy News expose. Many expressed shock at the health impact of the illegal mining and the levels captured in this documentary. The program marked the commencement of the Poison for Gold community tour, which is part of the media project on natural crimes in Ghana, supported by the U.S. Department of State, Bureau of Oceans, and the International Environment and Scientific Affairs Office of Conservation and Water. Here's a wrap of what happened in Samrabong.
I'm saying no more, so before saying any penny chrome animal, so follow Sada Hanum. So Uncle Nanama on to me and to follow cinema in a year.
Into the Martian Hanum, and I'm a word dreamy.
Nana be a shall ama abusabaya 500 ayabu. What say you cocoa hina?
The Bisane say, there be a sick galamse no ye manabani and watoy. Ye be a hey, ye watoy and
Hi, my name is Erastus Asare Donko. This is the Poison for Gold Community Tour. Welcome to Samreboy. Well, Samreboy because we captured many of the devastation caused by irresponsible mining in this town. And this is where we found many of the illegal miners sitting directly in the Tunnel River and polluting it. We also found people who have gotten sick, and when we investigated, we found a link between their ailments and irresponsible mining.
Ene mahuni aburu madwen ne ntia ase so esa se sanki yenya ne seya atoa so be se bia bosumi mienu ana bibia to sa nchechire wo yi a ke bia nka galamse ne sha ase wo sama abo ha no na se ne yensu asisi asesei ene ekoko ne ne ma asisi asesei no ne nyintum sanka ebekoso sa
ya manum me mani ade ya manum bebre ahunu awu ni enim se sa na ma wo ya bebre so ayale ye enim se sa de we na eden ekoso di si am behwe sa de we de nyame ani meto nyina no me kra wura ho ti se nkwa bebre nko school galam se ni nti nya de ono wan da ajinko bebre so SSN galam se no kwa di so of the enronuo ni ade na ade de o ma ho ode nya ade asa o mo de ahodom de ya adwuma.
We are all in this country. We know the powers that our traditional rulers hold. But as we speak now, because of Galamsey and its issues, the authority that they are supposed to hold has diminished.
Jumedia muni ebedi ye die. Ma boy papa. He ti me hunu fo ye nim se sa Galamsey body sense so bone e breye. Titu yan aba atan no. Just edi enya ma ye makura ye nya nwo won kura no. Omo ye nya nyinsa omo kura na so bone no e ka omo.
It's been a fantastic engagement, the first stop of the Poison for Gold Community Tour. Thank you very much to the Voice of America, the United States Agency for Global Media, and thank you to all the multimedia groups and the local stations. My name is Erastus Asare Donko. I report for the multimedia group. This is me signing out from Samreboy, Poison for Gold Community Tour. Thank you very much.
Well, stay on illegal mining because these miners have cut down vegetation covering more than 40 acres of land in the Amiaso Bibiani municipality of the Western North region. This vast amount of space, comparable to 30 football fields, included several farmlands in the Abuabo community. The Amiaso River and portions of the area remain a forest reserve. Residents of the Abuabo community are, however, unperturbed by the distraction as they are ready to trade more farmlands to these miners. Let's bring in now Erastus Asare Donko, joining us just before we get excerpts of what's happening in the Amiaso area. And Erastus, I must first of all congratulate you on this new move that you're taking, initiative to also deepen the about illegal mining within the Samreboy community and other areas affected by illegal mining. Let's talk about, what happened over the weekend when you premiered this documentary, this time round in the local dialect.
Exactly. Yes, it was a great experience, I must say, that a number of people, 100 people from the community gathered in the Forest Club, and the reactions alone, watching the documentary for the first time, some of them for the first time, it was breathtaking. In fact, there are some who said they never knew that, digging up the earth, going through those formalities could have any sort of impact for them on their health. In fact, some were expressing, the shock that they never knew that it has even some implications for newborn babies and for pregnant women as well. And so they were happy that the multimedia group has been able to come to them with that information. And some had to even take us to their farms, their cocoa farms, to show us how illegal mining has impacted negatively on their farms and even the water that they use to water their farms.
I see, and the devastation is on, I must say, sadly. What do you feel that you're getting from these residents as to what they intend to do as, ordinary citizens, just to mount a bit more pressure on dealing with this problem?
In fact, I would say that knowledge is power, and you could see that now their eyes have been opened to the effects of what is surrounding their community. In fact, some of them were using the polluted Tano River to spray their cocoa farms, to water their seedlings and all that. They never knew that when you do that, the polluted water will have an effect on the yield, the contamination and all that. And so I would say that it was some sort of debate, some sort of huge engagement. The chiefs were there, the citizens were questioning them as to their power in stopping what is going on and eating their farmlands and eating their livelihoods. Some of the chiefs said they were sub-chiefs, they were subject to dictatorial, sort of information from the top, from paramountcies. And so they could do nothing. But the citizens disagreed. They said, well, you could still do something because that particular land belongs to you. And so you can do something or even inform the paramountcy that this is what is going on. And so I would say that people have been empowered, people have been engaged, they have the opportunity to now voice their feelings and to talk about this. I know that going forward, they will be more empowered to deal with people who want to pollute their water and take over their farms.
How about the way forward and what's likely to happen next? Tamrabo, yes, but there are other communities still reeling under the effect of illegal mining. What do you intend to do with this new wave and drive that you're carrying out, showing the effects of illegal mining to these remote communities?
So we are happy to be powered or sponsored by the Voice of America, VOA, and the United States Agency for Global Media. So we have 3 more communities coming up. We are now going to choose which one of them we should go next. We have Wassa Krupon coming up. We have Manso in the Ashanti region also coming up. And we have other areas coming up as well. We want to do this. If we have more sponsorship, we could spread this to cover other areas affected by illegal mining. The idea is to engage communities, empower them with knowledge about the effects of illegal mining, build a force that will fight illegal mining from the local level, and I think together we can save the environment.
Erastus, thank you. And now we take you to the Amiaso area where Clinton Yeboah has visited the municipality, showing devastating effects of illegal mining.
The unlawful mining activities in many areas in the country, especially in the Ashanti and the western regions, continue to wreak havoc on land, forest reserves and water bodies in mining communities. Trees have been felled, cocoa farms and important economic crops have been cleared, either illegally or willingly, by farmers for Galamsey to thrive. At Abuabo, a small farming community in the Anyaso enclave, illegal miners have subdued farmlands spanning several acres. The Anyaso East Forest Reserve, which is one of 8 forest reserves in the Anyaso Bibiani municipality, have also seen portions intruded by illegal miners in the quest for gold. The Aboabo River and Aframpie River have been heavily impacted. The Aboabo River, which leads to the Ankobra River, has been blocked to supply water for the illegal mining activities. Despite the intervention by the Rapid Response Team of the Forest Commission in 2019, the situation persists as farmers and community members connive with illegal miners to harm the forests. Where I'm standing currently, we understand is supposed to be a cocoa farm and a plantain farm, but currently has been cleared to create this Galamsey site. We understand that behind these two sinkholes is a river that has been blocked to store the water so that the Galamseyers or the miners who come here to mine would use it for their washing. The sad part of it is that the youth are divided as to whether this is beneficial or not. Some are defending that if the activities of Galamsey here would generate them revenue, does it matter if a small stream is blocked? Theophilus Kofi, a resident, says the community is willing to lease all lands for illegal miners.
I work on this away. I think a beginning panasa at the clinic.
The government doesn't help us. If a Galamseyer will listen to us, then we will give him the land. It has helped us to get jobs and maintained calmness in this community. Even if government wants to extend the mining to other areas, we are in support of it. Some political leaders in the area are alleged to be owning illegal mining sites. Christopher Ajedu, who is ready to resist attempts to restore the wreckage, says the Galamseyers obtained the lands lawfully. They did not illegally acquire these lands. They come into some agreements. Owners have assessed and they are okay with the agreement. The owner of this land, which is now a site, has bought his car. He agreed to it. Whilst their resistance has been fierce, some concerned community members are appalled by the looming health and environmental hazards of illegal mining. Chem Samuel, a farmer in the Aboabo community, observed that strong political hands make the fight against illegal miners difficult. He is therefore appealing to the Minerals Commission and anti-Galamsey institutions to intensify measures to curb the menace in the Amiaso enclave.
As a good citizen, I'm just calling upon the government to come and help us, because I hope the pictures and the videos there, the machines which are parked there, and you saw how the guys were even trying to attack me at the site, you all know, because somebody have sent them. They even told me for this one it will not go anywhere because they know where they are coming from. And I'm just a poor guy. Even I don't have money for my schooling, neither can I fight those people. They are mentioning names. So I'm urging the governments to come in to fight for us.
Municipal Chief Executive Paul Ando, however, believes the authorities in the municipality have been proactive in the fight against illegal mining. He says lack of jobs and quest for development should not be an excuse for the devastating of lands, forests and water bodies through illegal mining.
So I quickly live with my commanders, DMC, that is the District Mining Committee. I think they went there and nobody was seen at the site. But as on their way coming, 4 excavators was gathered at a specific community. And through their investigation, they are yet to find out actually who owned the fact that the assembly or the government is not holding to their effort. It doesn't necessarily call for illegal mining, because we cannot say actually we are hungry so that we can use our both hands to eat.
So far, over 14 regions in this country are suffering from the devastation of illegal mining. One can also how underdevelopment and unemployment are tied to the illegal mining activities in this country. But from the municipal chief executive of BBNE municipality, a hungry man is not supposed to eat with two hands. As to what update would be coming, we'll be on grounds to report. From BBNE, my name is Clinton Yabua for Joy News.
I speak to Awolasa of the Eco-Conscious Citizens who is joining us now via phone. Thank you for your time here on the polls. Now, we have farmers willing to give out their land, as we're learning from this report, due to poor yields, and they're giving out their lands to illegal miners. That should be worrying, isn't it? That we're gradually getting to this point where people are giving out their land simply because of the returns they're getting from these illegal miners.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I mean, the situation is getting worse and worse and worse. I don't know what to say. But we have to realize that if you farm yourself, that does not give you the right to go and mine. So you can mine, you need a license. But I think we have to focus on different fronts. On one front, we have to understand that it's like a war going on, because the destruction of our farmlands, whether people have sold their land or not, the destruction of the water body will have food security issues, apart from the fact that we're poisoning ourselves. And I listened again to the clip of the president saying that he was prepared to put his presidency on line because he understood the seriousness of the situation. So we need to make sure that the remaining months that are left, the president actually did what he said he would do 7 years ago. In addition to we have to tackle this. We're prepared to begin when there was a coup. Are you telling me that the military we have, all the forces we have, we cannot deal with illegal miners to protect the citizenry from the absolute danger? I think that we're just not doing enough. But yes, and we should then go and buy the land, make sure that the lands are protected. We need to tackle this on so many different fronts. If we don't, not only will we be poisoned, we don't have any food to eat if our lands are being used for mining purposes.
Looking at the situation, government should be considering a policy that would perhaps help these poor farmers to keep their land, irrespective of the low yields, isn't it?
I mean, of course, they should make sure that they keep their land irrespective of the yield. But what I'm saying is that if the farmers are selling the land, either government buys it or individuals who have money, instead of flaunting their money around, one of the things to do is to buy up this land and make sure that it's preserved for farming purposes or for whatever purposes, and not obviously for mining purposes. In your report, there was a story about rivers being, contaminated to use for farming, for mining purposes. It has to be stopped. May we face a clear and present danger, and the government needs to, whether they have to send troops, it's like a civil war going on. We need to stop it before we all die of starvation, because they're just sort of seeing the beginning of the end, and we need to nip it in the bud now. So I'm calling the president to actualize what he said about putting his presidency on the line, because I'm not seeing any of it. I'm rather seeing journalists putting their lives on the line, going to report on these matters. But I'm not seeing the authorities are actually doing to stop what is going on. Sure, our army is stronger than any illegal miners, whatever arms they have.
It appears we might have lost Awolasa.
Now,
yes, we lost you briefly on that point there.
Yes, the point I was making was that I'm not sure where you lost me, but I was saying that we need to hold our president to the promise he made. You can't tell me that the authorities and the army we have are not as strong as any forces the illegal miners might have. The reason why we can't stop them is that high flyers are also engaged in what is going on, and we are not prosecuting them. So nothing has happened to the directors of mining. So we are finding it difficult to deal with other people. But I don't think if the army decides they are going to put an end to what is going on, and And if the farmers are selling their land, the government can buy, individuals can buy to stop the land being taken over by illegal miners. Even if the illegal miners have the land, you cannot mine without license, regardless of whether it belongs to you or not.
Awola, we're grateful for your time here on The Pulse. And now, moving on, data available to UNICEF shows that a lot more teenagers, particularly girls, are increasingly contracting HIV and AIDS infections in West and Central Africa as compared to other parts of the world. Speaking to the Global AIDS Monitoring and UNAIDS 2022 report, UNICEF Chief of Health Alexander Boone says the situation could be attributable to many factors, including a myriad of challenges confronting the SAD region. He spoke to Joy News' MFI Tiamwa early in an interview in Lomé. There's more in the following report.
Sharing details of the data with members of the African Media Network for the Promotion of Health and Environment, REMAPSEN, at a workshop in Lomé, UNICEF's Chief of Health in Africa, Alexander Boone, said despite advances in recent years, particularly in reducing HIV transmission from mother to child, attention and support for children and adolescents living with HIV remains insufficient. Alexander believes this is among the myriad of other factors aggravating the prevalence of cases, particularly among adolescent girls in Africa. He said girls are at a greater risk of contracting new infections compared to boys.
In some countries where the incidence and the prevalence of HIV is on the rise, we have noticed that unfortunately the majority of newly infected people were among adolescents and particularly adolescent girls. And as we showed it on the graphic, the risk of adolescent girls to contract HIV is pretty much 6 times higher than the equivalent of age of the male adolescent. And that is probably related to many things and many circumstances or behaviors or either social related to poverty, perhaps related to the circumstances where these adolescents live.
Also among the regional challenges compounding the threat to adolescents' health include limited engagement of community health workers in HIV and AIDS service delivery, as well as low availability of adolescent and youth-friendly health services in countries recording higher figures. According to the Global AIDS Monitoring and UNAIDS 2022 estimates, West and Central Africa is one of the regions in the world where children and adolescents are most affected by HIV, putting them just behind East and Southern Africa.
We know that girls in general are much more sensitive to sexual transmitted infection, including HIV, than boys. The intergenerational sex is also one of the contributing factors. When a young adolescent or an adolescent girl gets into sexual intercourses with older men, there's a higher risk of transmission as well of sexual transmitted infections, including HIV.
According to the report, prevention of mother-to-child transmission has remained at 65% coverage on the region since 2017. 7 out of 10 children don't have access to HIV treatment in West and Central Africa. Pediatric treatment coverage is at a low 35% compared to 73% for adults. Also, there's been only 25% coverage for early childhood diagnosis, with 3 out of 10 children born to HIV-positive mothers tested before their first 2 months of life. Regarding early diagnosis of HIV in infants, Ghana is among 8 countries to achieve above regional average of 25%, well below the target of 95% in the continent. In a clarion call to action, UNICEF enjoins all and sundry to accelerate the pace towards an AIDS-free generation in West and Southern Africa. The Children-Centered Humanitarian Organization believes eradicating AIDS starts with children. Each country must do everything possible to create a world in which children and adolescents are assured of getting the support they need to fight HIV and AIDS, so we can deliver on our collective promise to enable an AIDS-free generation by 2030. Emefa Ewenam Atiamwa Ellis reports for Joy News. Lomé.
Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Chairman Atuahini, says the country risks losing its human resources to HIV/AIDS if nothing is done about the increasing spate of the HIV infections. Dr. Atuahini was reacting to the Global AIDS Monitoring and UNAIDS 2022 report, which says girls are 6 times at risk of getting infected with HIV/AIDS virus.
Receptive sex is generally riskier than incestuous sex. So whether it is vaginal or anal sex, the receptive partner is more at risk to the infection than the incestuous partner. And this is because they raise greater mucosal in the woman who is exposed to HIV during penile vaginal intercourse. And if there should be any breach or tear of the vaginal mucosa or anal mucosa, which is relatively thin, there definitely will be an increased risk or likelihood of HIV infection in the woman or the receptive partner if they happen to be a man. And so if this occurs, then we see that is one of the risk factors. Then if there should be untreated sexually transmitted disease, and of course in women it takes a long time for them to see whether they have any symptoms of sexually transmitted infection. And so if it is untreated for a long time, especially the untreated ones, it increases the risk of the woman or the girl becoming infected if exposed to HIV. My advice to the young people is that it's not everything we see on the internet that is wholesome for us, that we should also experiment or practice. We should take our lives into our own hands and ensure that we live healthy lives and productive lives. And so sexual activity, getting into the scale of the services that we need to provide. For example, if we do not have adequate funding to provide the combination prevention services to people who need them, then it becomes a challenge. Number 2 is that we have, because of stigma and discrimination associated with HIV, and of course, as we are talking about young people, when it comes to HIV and reproductive health in general, there is some stigma related to young people because we expect that they should not be sexually active, and if they are sexually active and having unprotected sex, getting pregnant and also getting sexually infected infections, sexually transmitted infections like HIV and others, then we tend to stigmatize them both in the community and in the home, and also the health facility. And this is an area that we all have to work together to ensure that we do not stigmatize young people, especially in the health facility.
Medical Director of the Upper West Regional Hospital, Dr. Robert Amicia has disclosed that though the hospital has started operations 4 years ago without the needed seed capital, it has been able to work itself out of some of the teething challenges and is best placed to serve the people. Speaking at an event, an award ceremony for 60 staff of the hospital and other individuals who have contributed to the positive development of the hospital since its inception. He noted that the biggest strength which the hospital is leveraging on is the quality of their equipment and staff. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Though it was commissioned in August 2019, the Upper West Regional Hospital opened its doors to the public 5 clear months before they were able to have access to quality healthcare services at the facility. The hospital started with a seed capital and was therefore expected to take care of only outpatients. With the improvisation and ingenuity of the management and the zeal of the catered staff of the hospital, they held the bull by the horns, worked above themselves to ensuring that the objective of the government in providing a state-of-the-art 160-bed hospital for the region and beyond is fully realized. Despite the challenges, Medical Director of the Upper West Regional Hospital, Dr. Robert Amicia, opined that the biggest strength of the hospital is the quality equipment and the people manning them. Hence, the need to award them in order to motivate them to increase their output.
We have a lot of strengths in this hospital which we are leveraging on. And our strength is that the hospital is well equipped. It will interest you to know that we have some of the equipment in this hospital that are hard to find in other parts of the country. Everyone here is not working for free. All of us working here are paid monthly. I get monthly salary. Ever since I started working, fortunately I've been missed 1 month. But if I go beyond what I'm supposed to do for my salary, there must be a system put in place to say thank you or have a pat at your back for going the extra mile. And we think when you go the extra mile, you put a lot of smiles on the faces of people.
Our Power Soldier Minister, Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali, commended health workers in the region for their commitment to their work, attributing it to the leadership style of Dr. Damien Powiri and Dr. Robert Amicia.
Dr. Damien took over as Regional Director of Ghana Health Service. I have seen a tremendous change in the health sector. We have seen many more people come as doctors. We have seen nurses come to the region. We have seen many midwives accept postings to the Upper West region. And the story is not the same. It's not different when it comes to Dr. Robert.
Our Power Soldier Director of Health Services, Dr. Damien Powiri, on his part, is optimistic that despite the initial challenges encountered, the hospital has overcome many of them and is fulfilling its mandate.
Critical staff add to the hospital. 4 years and I can only look back with pride to say that our hospital is achieving the intended purpose.
In all, 60 staff of the hospital and other individuals were honored by the hospital for significant roles played in the development of the facility. Notable among them is Upper West Region Minister Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali, Managing Director of Usua Ghana Limited, Alhaji Yusuf Yakubu, President of the Asokoli Traditional Area, Tobe Afede the 14th, and Joy News, Rafiq Salam. The overall winner of the awards went to a nurse at the General Surgery Ward, Regan Ajakum, who took home an Apsonic motorbike donated by Kina Farmer. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Inadequate infrastructure at Adan Technical School in the Adan East District of the Greater Accra region is adversely affecting the intake of freshmen as the school grapples to find space for 900 new students. Headmistress Evelyn Azansu revealed this during the donation of student beds with mattresses to 2 educational institutions by the Member of Parliament for Adan constituency, Comfort Doyo Ganza. My colleague Carlos Caloni has more in the following report.
Despite Adan Technical School requesting space for 580 students this year, the demand for admission has already reached almost 900. Headmistress Evelyn Azansu informed Joy News that they have only 1 classroom for the 900 students, as inadequate infrastructure continues to hinder effective teaching and learning.
This year, after giving the classrooms to second and third years, we have only 1 classroom left for first year's intake. And then, we asked for 580, but now we are hitting almost 900. And where to put them is a challenge. Having 1 classroom for first years, where are we going to put them? You see, so those are the challenges that we have. And the number of furniture that we have to will not cater for even the continuing students and then the freshers that are coming. You see the 18-unit classroom block there. Rainstorm has taken it off. We wrote letters severally for government to come and then the contractor to come to our aid, but still, nothing has been done. And we have a 3 classrooms there. At least when roofed, it can ease the challenge for us a little, but that one too still is standing without any attempt to re-roof it for us. We are not able to contain the numbers that are coming, because most people wanted to come to Adan Technical Institute. But because of the challenges we have on the ground, we cannot take more than we can.
At Adan Senior High School, students and school authorities lament inadequate beds and running water as major challenges requiring urgent attention.
We're not having enough beds in the dormitory, and some of them used to sleep on bare floors and wake up in the morning. They get up the beds at one place and then leave for school.
And apart from the beds, we also face water challenges.
As an interim measure, MP for Adan, Comfort Doyo Ganza, through the support of the German government, has donated a number of mattresses and dual student beds to Adan Technical and Senior High Schools.
In all, we have 36, so we have sent, we have 56. We have sent 20 to other school, which is Adan Technical, and we have brought 20 to Adan Senior High. And the health sector too, we have given them 10. We have over 3,000 students who are to use water to bath, which no water tanker can serve them. But we have a river just across the street. So if we get a pumping machine, that can pump water from the river to this side, it's a clean water. They can use it for the high shores, like washing and bathing. That can solve a lot of problems for us.
District Chief Executive for the area, Sarah Dubaki Pobi, revealed that interventions have been included in the Assembly's 2024 budget to address the infrastructure challenges facing the schools.
I think in 2024 budget, we have put in rehabilitation of schools. We have decided we are not going to build any more schools, but rehabilitate those that we have. So that extends that we've put in place. I think Adan Technical is part of our budget that we did this year, and we are going to help renovate everything that they have there. But with the classes, as they are saying, we've also gone to Get Fund to also plead with them to see in their budget if they can give us additional classrooms for them to also have their way to at least admit more students in the school.
The MP also supported students affected by the floods caused by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam at Pediatokope with various cash amounts and some groceries, remaining resolute in collaborating with stakeholders towards the socio-economic development of Adan residents. Carlos Caloni, Joy News, Adan.
And now the National Democratic Congress has commenced a compilation of stalled projects across the country. Completion of these projects will remain key on the agenda of the National Democratic Congress government if successful in the coming elections. Flagbearer John Mahama says the resources found in government coffers after assuming power will be channeled towards these projects. Nanayao Jima told the Volta region with the former president and comes through with this report.
Calls for completion of stalled projects in various parts of the country have become repetitive on the Building Ghana tour of the NDC. In the party's stronghold, the Volta region, the National House of Chiefs was among groups to make the call. Vice President of the House, Togbe Patamiajekle VII, drew the attention of John Mahama to the stalled Eastern Corridor Road, started under his administration.
During your tenure as President of this country, the Eastern Corridor was always on the agenda. Unfortunately, we were not able to complete it to make travel from one end of the region to the other. The question I would like to put to you is, what will happen if, assume, the mantle of power come next year?
Earlier at a stakeholder meeting, the NDC flag bearer expressed dissatisfaction over government's decision to start new projects as many remain stalled across the country.
It's not only in the Volta region, it's all over the country. All the projects that they inherited, they have abandoned. And they themselves have started projects that they know they cannot complete. And yet, instead of finishing the abandoned projects and ongoing projects, they've started new projects, Agenda 111. Some of them are at foundation level, some they've raised the block work, but they know that they cannot finish it before they leave. So what they'll do is they'll just push it on to somebody else and say, oh, we started this and you came and you've abandoned it. But look at the mess you've created. Where are we going to get money to finish all those projects? But I have pledged that we would restrain ourselves from starting new projects. Whatever little resources that we come and meet, we will send it into completing the ongoing and abandoned projects. And so I was talking to our General Secretary, and I said we wanted our party executives and our organizers to start constituency by constituency identifying abandoned projects in your constituencies. Some of them are in the secondary schools, abandoned dining hall blocks, abandoned dormitory blocks. Let's take an inventory of them, so that when we come into office, we know the projects that we are dealing with. And as we free up fiscal space, we will apply those monies to continue with those projects.
Meanwhile, stalled projects funded by the GET Fund have come up strongly. Mr. Mahama details the NDC's solution.
Infrastructure is common to everybody. Infrastructure has come to a standstill because the GET Fund has been collateralized. This government has taken the GET Fund in advance and used it. And so all the money that is coming in the GET Fund today is going to pay the debt for the money that they have taken. And that's why all the projects on your campuses have come to a standstill. And so I have suggested that they should add the GET Fund debt to the debt restructuring so that it frees up the funds for us to be able to pay the contractors to continue the projects that are on your campuses.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Volta Region.
Volta Region traditional overlord of the Apini State, Togbe Dagadu IX, says his doors are open to more philanthropic initiatives, which he sees as crucial to the socio-economic development of his area. The traditional authority in the Volta region made the call to action when the Black Music Appreciation Collective Africa Foundation commissioned its first project to share a plate with less privileged persons within the Kpando municipality. There's more in this report.
It's all about putting a smile on the faces of people. That's the mission of the Black Music Appreciation Collective Africa BMACA Foundation, which has outdoored a project to share a plate with the less privileged in society. Long queues and an impatient crowd flooded the donation drive in the Kpando municipality, the first community to benefit from this Pan-African initiative. Togbe Dagadu, traditional overlord of the Apini State, lauded the initiative while calling for more philanthropic initiatives, which he sees as crucial for the development of the Kpando municipality.
We have a lot of warriors and titans in our Apini area, and Victor Hiakpo has demonstrated he's one of them. I've said it before, that our leadership is like an electrical extension board. If you have something to offer, you come and see the leaders and you plug in. And if everybody plugs in, we will see progress. Our sitting here today is demonstrable of that theory.
Chief Executive Officer of the BIMACA Foundation, Nancy Ekul, says her outfit is on a drive to support vulnerable communities across Africa while developing more talents from these communities.
So the foundation is all about helping the needy, the widows, the orphans, and all kind of people who doesn't have it like in real life. And but the organization that is especially about education, appreciate our own talents. So we want to bring all our talents together, and we have more bigger programs for this. So we started with the launching of this foundation today in Kompo. It is not only about Ghana, but because I choose Ghana, because I think I feel good in Ghana, so we do it first here, and then we bring it further. So it's not only about Ghana, but it's about the collective of Africa.
Member of Parliament for the area, De La Soa, and Municipal Chief Executive Joe Badasu were all full of praise for this initiative.
I'll say that Kwando feels thankful and honored because, like we are saying, this is an international or African program, and Kwando being the first place that the program is organized, it's a huge honor to our community.
I'm even short of words. I at least expected the program to be this way, and so long as I remain in office, the Assembly will also support this program, so that at least the less privileged in society, once in a while, at least can say, oh, there are some people out there who care so much about them.
Share a Plate project in the Kwando municipality also saw lots of giveaways and other surprises.
And thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Still to come, Ghanaians disappointed in the poor performance of the Black Stars in their first opening match at the AFCON following a humiliating defeat to Cape Verde last night. We'll explore the team's chances moving forward.
The well here as well. That's a fun.
Daddy, this tank is big!
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow! It has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see S-I-N-T-E-X. Syntax!
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey! Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntex again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntex gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntex is the answer. Syntex tank. Are you strong? Are you tough?
It's a movement for a better Ghana. The New Force.
Embrace the new force.
It's time to get stepping, because if you upgrade your DSTV subscription now, we'll step you up to an even higher package.
Respect that.
Upgrade now and step up to even more action. Step up to more football. Step up to more local drama. Step up to more fun and get more than you pay for. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package at no extra cost. Visit your MultiChoice branch or agent and upgrade to step up and get boosted.
And some Ghanaians are expressing doubts about the ability of the Black Stars to end the country's 42-year-old AFCON trophy drought after the senior national team lost to Cape Verde in their first Group B match on Sunday. Many of the fans who trooped to a viewing centre at Osu were optimistic the Black Stars would win their first match and also bolster their chances of lifting the trophy. But they were left disappointed as Ghana lost by a 2-1 goal margin. Maxwell Agbagba was there and now reports.
The excitement at the Sierra viewing centre was before the match. Many Ghanaians were optimistic that the Black Stars will win their first game against Cape Verde. That they believed would put them on a good path to win the trophy and end the 42-year trophy drought.
Oh, like Ghana will win. I'm a big fan of Jordan Ayew. Like I'm supporting. I just want him to score 2 goals. All right, 2 goals for Ghana.
What do you think will be the score?
That's what is going to be 2-0. Also, all the goals are going to score by Jordan Ayew.
Winning this game is Ghana winning.
Sure. Yeah, I want to win by 2 goals to 1.
2 goals
to 1.
2 goals to 1.
Sure.
For some of them, they were full of pessimism. After many years of heartbreak from the Black Stars, they have simply lost all hope.
Okay, so like as we know, Black Stars they don't have anything good to offer the country. Honestly,
they don't have anything
good to offer the country. So me personally, I'm just expecting a loss. They will lose.
Oh.
Black Stars.
So you say we are losing?
We are losing. Ghana is.
By how many goals?
By 2.
2-0 against.
2-0 against Ghana.
Wait. Before I go. Wait. Before I go. Are you Ghanaian?
I'm a Ghanaian, fully Ghanaian.
Ghana no Jibo.
I know the bad.
We are Ghanaian.
Me a Ghanaian. I be Ghanaian.
Cape Verde drew first blood in the 17th minute. The crowd was raptured into a state of excitement when Ghana equalized in the 56th minute through a goal by Alexander Djiku. But Cape Verde scored again in the 92nd minute, making it 2-1 against Ghana. The game ended and the blame game started.
So disappointed. It's very disgraceful. Playing against Cape Verde, your first match, and losing this horrible lose is so bad. It's so bad. I'm very disappointed.
I wasn't disappointed at all. I wasn't disappointed because I was expecting this. I knew this was how they were going to play. Because one, Black Stars, we don't have a formidable team. They just, they just pick up the players from anywhere they find them play football and they bring them in to come and play. No, they are not going to make any impact. They are not going to make any impact. And we are not going to make it out of the group. We are going out of the group. We are not even winning the game, I tell you.
I think we need to go back and look at when you are playing a football match, you don't wait till the second half before you put in your quality players. You understand? you're supposed to start with those who are consistent. With the kind of players that we have, I think we have to, like I said, we have to make sure that when we start a game, we go in with our first 11, as in like the first force. You know, let's not come back and try to defend and try to score. Like it's high time Ghana, we do away with that.
We go carry that one guy come. The one guy in the was such a behind me. Do you say the Sunday players no more Sunday special? We no more change. Who carry and come?
My candidate made known to us that always when they are going to play a match, they are going to lose. And next time when the changes delayed a lot. Next time we hope for the best and also qualify to the next league. That's all what we want.
Who is the technical advisor of this Black Stars? Akufo-Addo. That's my question. It's Akufo-Addo. Who is the technical advisor of this team?
Oh, they actually did well, but then I actually expected more from them, but I was quite disappointed. But anyways, Ghana all the way.
Ghana all the way.
Yes.
Do you think we'll go far in this tournament?
I hope so. I'm scared, but then I feel that if anything happens, I'm still for Ghana.
Chelsea, tell me, what's your assessment of the game? Do you think we're going to go far in this tournament?
I'm not sure. We need more prayers because what happened here was so sad. I'm just hoping we'll do well.
Abigail Sosu is a journalist. She's equally disappointed.
Extremely disappointed, but I didn't see that coming. Actually, I predicted 2-1, but it looks like it went the other way around, you know. But it's one of those games. I just want to reassure myself of the fact that we always say we are slow starters, but this is extreme because if you are going to imagine your next game against Egypt, who quality drew, no one thought that after match day 1, Cape Verde will be on top of Group B. But you know that is to tell you how the game is evolving, and so if you don't move with the times, it becomes very difficult. We always say it's a wake-up call. We've been waking up and marking time for a very long time. I think that we need to get our house in order.
Well, not a good starter for the Black Stars, but it's time now to hear from colleagues Joy Sports, Gary Smith, and also Muftau Nabila Abdullah, who are all joining me now to have a conversation. I'm wondering why Muftau is still keeping the jersey by now, though, when many are taking it off. But Muftau, let me start off with you before I come to Gary. Of course, there are many who are wondering what's happening in Abidjan, where you are now. Give us a sense of, what the reaction has been to the performance of the Black Stars.
It's been quite a reaction to forget, let me put it that way, considering the fact that many people actually thronged here hoping for a very good start from the Black Stars. But one of the things that many of us cannot forget is about the fact that Ghanaians and the Black Stars have got this toxic relationship. Today, we will tell you that we are no longer interested in the Black Stars, that whenever a tournament comes around, there's just this inner belief that tells us that this might just be the time that they change the story of their participation in media events. In the last 10 matches that the Black Stars has played in the AFCON, they've won just one, and that came in 2019, I think, against Guinea-Bissau. And the Stars do not favor the Black Stars, and the Stars should have given us, or should have been a warning to any fan who was coming to watch this game. However, that belief that always got us to continue to throw our weight behind this team. All of us here thinking that
and I'll come to you shortly, Muftau, for more on this. Gary, congratulations on winning the Sports Writers Award for this year. And, of course, just to get your buy-in before we let you off this hook, the point about the performance of the Black Stars and what to be on the lookout for.
I think Muftau has given us an in into just the way the fans are feeling, first of all. And it was the sentiment that all of us have, that it's pretty difficult to see how the Black Stars are going out of this group because, like Egypt themselves did not win their first game, and so they are going for broke in the game on Thursday against the Ghana team. there are so many things that are wrong with the Ghana team that make it difficult for some of us to feel that there's the opportunity or there's the ability to come back. And so that is my primary worry, Bless, that do we have the ability from the coaching side, from the player side, but especially from the coaching side, to beat a team like Egypt?
I see. And what's your prediction in terms of how things are going to unfold for the Black Stars? Many not having hopes at this time that we'll be able to sail through the group stages. Do you see us going past that stage, and what's your permutation?
Oh yeah, yes. I mean, I have to be consistent. So yesterday I tweeted in the evening that I find it very difficult to see us going out of the group stage. In fact, before the tournament, again, to be consistent, Bless, I had said that if we went past the group stage, it would be an achievement. And, that's very low in terms of the Black Stars. If we go beyond the group stages, let's say, I think that would be an achievement.
I see. And Gary, looking at the entire tournament, just before you go, the point about the quality of football we're seeing now, what's your impression?
Just been a few games. Every team has played at most one game. And so at this time, we are going to see a lot of caution. Senegal, being the defending champions, as we speak now, they are leading by 3-0. And
that game has ended.
The game has ended, 3-0.
Yeah,
3-0. In Senegal by 3-0. So they are playing, arguably the most flamboyant football. But, as the tournament progresses, other teams to start finding their confidence. And so I think it's too early to gauge the kind of football we have now because, a lot of games have not been played. Less than 10 games or so have been played so far.
Grateful, Gary Al-Smith, for joining us, and of course we'll see you very shortly. But Muftar is still with us, joining us from Abidjan, and Muftar, you're just talking about that game that's concluded now. Feeding that into this whole AFCON tournament, the quality of play and how tough things are getting for the Black Stars. There are many who are wondering, where will this end for us?
Blessed, one of the things that we would always question our Black Stars about is the character of the boys, whether they have the psyche to compete against the best in the continent. It's quite unfortunate that these Black Stars players, or this group of players, appears to be a group of players that do not have the character to compete at the highest level. The kind of determination that you need to play in the Black Stars is lacking in these boys. So I think that the only solution that this Chris Hughton and his technical team can find is to get the right balance, to get the right psyche, and to push these boys to their limits to compete for their country. Trust me, I was having a conversation with an official or a former official of the FA, and one of the things that came up was the fact that they needed a psychologist to be part of the technical team of the Black Stars. But it is something that this current group of FA officials have not accepted. But from where I think it is important that we have a psychologist to be part of the team. Trust me, Chris Hughton, as we speak right now, Blessed, I do not know how he feels after some fans, arid fans for that matter, abuse him verbally in the Black Stars camp. In fact, that is a story I just published on my Joy Online just a couple of minutes ago before we came online, where I wrote all the background stories of how the supporters got in there and railed all manner of insults with the coach. Yes, he's 60-something years of age. But when you're doing your job and you feel that people around you do not trust what you're doing, do not give you the support that you need, and they abuse you, you are a human being. It will definitely get your skin. And when the head coach of the team is affected, he's going to transmit it to the players. So I think that it's important that we have some a psychologist in the team. FA officials will tell you that coaches themselves are psychologists. In fact, I remember the example they cited of Otuado. Now Otuado himself is a psychologist. But they do separate job. Let the coach concentrate on tactics and let the psychologist concentrate on the psyche of the players. If that should happen, I'm not sure anyone would say that the game coming up against Egypt is a game that the players should be worried about. You go out there, you give your all, and the result can go anywhere.
I see. The way forward, what changes, technically speaking, would you want to see?
What changes? I don't think that there should be lots of changes in terms of personnel who played. What we just need is players who are determined, players who are hungry to go all out. Even if you change personnel and the personnel are not hungry enough, the result is not going to change. I hope, and in fact, I was having a conversation with one of the technical team members. In fact, two of them are actually on the technical bench of the Black Stars, and they tell us that they are hoping to see positive attitude in the game against Egypt. When they get the right attitude, then there will be certainty that they can qualify. One of the fears that they have is that Cameroon might just come rolling all over again. It is something they want to avoid.
I see. Any predictions on our next match?
Predictions? Quite difficult thing to do. Football is like that. It's difficult to predict. Anything can happen in the game of football. I think the best for Ghana could be a draw.
Well, troubling times for the Black Stars going forward. But I'm grateful, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi, for joining us all the way from Abidjan with the latest. Now, a council member of the ecotourism is calling for advocacy to stop destruction of forest reserves in the country. According to Professor Erasmus, also, if nothing is done to stop the devastation, the country will soon be without any reserve. He was speaking at a stakeholders conference in Tamale to discuss issues bordering on the wild.
The conference brought together stakeholders involved in protected land management within the Mole ecological landscape to deliberate on the issues facing wildlife and forest reserves. Speaking at the ceremony, council member Professor Erasmus also said after 1996 there hasn't been any new reserve established, yet the old ones are being destroyed.
When you look at after the forest reserves, we stopped establishing forest reserves a long time ago. And even when you look at the ones that were recently established, they were established under decrees. It's scientific instruments, drawings goes to cabinet, cases presented, they say, look, let's make it a protected area. We didn't have to go through parliamentary issues, nothing, and it was established. Chabogo, they said, if it were today, it would not be there. As I speak now, we've been fighting for Atiwa Range to be converted into a national park. We fought that battle for almost 10 years. It has never come home.
The Director, Stakeholder and Ecotourism Wildlife Department, Dr. Richard Jima, highlighted some successes chalked under the Savannah Integrated Conservation Project implemented to conserve the wild.
First of all, let me just say that the project helped in supporting sustainable financing of the park through the initiative that we have, that is the craft shop was reactivated, and by that the communities living around the Mole landscape were able to bring their craft materials to the shop and serve as outlets for them to sell their products and also get revenue. And so once we want to protect biodiversity, we should also get benefits from the biodiversity and also the communities around it.
A representative of the traditional rulers, Abdullahi Mono, said the advocacy is beginning to have impact on areas with wildlife and reserves.
What is going on is a good thing. All we need to do is to keep including the people. A lot of the communities are beginning to benefit. And it is clear if you go to areas like Mognori and the rest, how they used to hunt or poach in the park is reducing because the same people are almost becoming those who inform or otherwise prevent their colleagues from going because of the benefits they are getting. So the issue is just about benefit sharing. When everybody gets something, you know our grandfathers left this thing for us. It has gotten to our time to get something from it. Somebody is coming to say that he is in charge of it. What do we get? and the issues of the topics on the creamer in particular, and palm out, are now catching up with almost every area.
Executive Chairperson of the First Sky Group, Ericssedi Kutoche, has underscored his company's commitment to providing the youth in Ghana with sustainable income. According to him, despite the economic challenges faced by most businesses in the year 2023, the company recorded unprecedented growth. He was speaking at the 21st anniversary and Thanksgiving service of the group.
Sky Group is a Ghanaian-owned entity comprising subsidiaries with interests in hospitality, construction, insurance, banking and other sectors with over 4,000 employees. The company, through its corporate social responsibility, has supported some kidney patients at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital with free dialysis amounting to 33 million cedis. Speaking at a Thanksgiving service, founder and executive chairman of the group, Ericssedi Kutoche, said the company has been resilient despite the economic challenges in the past year.
The year 2023 was not favorable globally for business. Some business collapsed, others saw very minimal growth. But for the mercies of God, our business was sustained and then saw unprecedented growth. God is indeed a faithful God. One who observed that for us at the First Sky Group, the critical ingredient responsible for our existence and growth has been abundance of grace and love of God, fashioning in us to break new grounds, turn fallow fields into profitable experience, and lead the corporate entrepreneurial narrative in job and the wealth creation through employment, innovative solutions, and hard work. Mr. Chairman, 2024 is an interesting year for us as Ghanaians, both within the country and the diaspora. We acknowledge the simple reason we will be going to the polls in December for our general election. Let us, with resolute energies, firm efforts, fortitude, and purpose, preserve our collective peace.
Chairman of the occasion, Reverend Dr. Stephen Yennesom Wengam, commended the group for its resolve to maintain its employees and provide a lot of youth with jobs even in difficult times.
And in an era when many companies are folding up and laying off workers, because of your love for humanity, you have bent over and kept this huge number on your payroll. And I want to advise the staff of First Sky Group that it is not a right to be employed. You know, sometimes in our part of the world, we have a sense of entitlement. When people want jobs, they come with a certain sense of humility, and then when they have the job, then they begin to behave as if it is their right to be employed. It is not a right to be employed. If you have a job today, it is not a right. It is the grace of God and the magnanimity of employers who bend over to keep you in job.
The First Sky Group is currently undertaking a project to build a kidney transplant center at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital.
Is a military government which will rule with advice from certain eminent civilians in the country.
Once he got himself into the Ghana Army in 1953, he fell settled and never changed course. There were about 8 of them who were selected after their gross training to go to England to have their officers training the second phase. See, at that time, after training 3 months or 6 months of the roast, then you go for further training to become full lieutenant. Now, what a lot of people didn't know was that the rich original date for the coup was the 15th of January, but it leaked. The intelligence system got to know about it.
Up to today, nobody has succeeded in doing what he did. Because Ghana exported food for the first time in thousands of tons. And we have never exported food since then.
He had the belief that as a producer agriculture work.
This was his last word. Father, take this ring. Pray for me that God may accept me as I am. This was his last word.
Asantehene Otunfosi to the second has urged the Inspector General of Police to ensure peaceful conduct of the 2024 general elections on December 7. This was after the Police Management Board, led by Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, paid a courtesy call on the Asantehene at the Menchia Palace as part of a New Year engagement with some stakeholders in the Ashanti region. The Asantehene urged the IGP and the Police Management Board to put in place measures to prevent chaos during the polls. Nana Bwachi-Adam has more in the following report.
The Police Management Board, led by Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, paid a courtesy call on the Asantehene at the Menchia Palace as part of a New Year engagement with some stakeholders in the Ashanti region. While encouraging the police to maintain its visibility operations, the Asantehene admonished the IGP to ensure a peaceful election in December. We have had numerous elections, but this looks very much heated. I don't understand why it is always like that when we are approaching elections, especially this election. I am encouraging you to ensure a peaceful election in December. Let us continue to enjoy the peace we have as a country. The Asantehene commended the IGP for ensuring an incident-free Yuletide and encouraged the Police Management Board to widen its patrol activities nationwide. Dr. George Akufo-Dampare promised to maintain the police visibility plan in the Ashanti region and across the country. We tightened security because we knew a lot of people would travel into the country. So we had to protect everybody. Our visibility team were all over the country, and we intend to do more.
And I mean, the Papa so Minana, I can't go home. That's why my negotiation was said. It's not any other end. And may get a walk for dining tea. Yes, you can not to us.
The Police Management Board later engaged members of the Ghana Union of Traders Association to better appreciate their concerns to help boost security.
That we reported to IG about some theft cases in our marketplaces. So the IG assured us that it's going to embark on education program and security issues. So we started this and with Kantaman to Abusoka and some few areas, and then we resolved to come to the Ashanti region today to embark on the same education. What the citizens need to know and what the police also have to do in terms of security.
For Joy News, Nana Boachi Danko Yadom, Kumasim.
And is there an autopsy report confirming the cause of death of former President John Evans Atta Mills? And why is the family not aware of the existence? And why is it not an official public record? These are the questions President Akufo-Addo raised when the Odoma clan of the Konfi and Kuku Anyidoho called on him at the Jubilee House to thank government for the renovation of the Asomdwe Park, which is the burial place of the late President John Evans Mills.
Your problem is that me do abusia ni masoba man. Me betina konwa no so no me hu autopsy report bia we abusia ni sam. Enu me problem kesi me ni abusia wo.
One significant issue within our family pertains to the absence of the autopsy reports for our late president. If questioned about the cause of the former president's death, providing response would be challenging.
Because not to talk about me.
Therefore, Mr. President, the family of the late President, John Evans Fifi Atta Mills, along with the chiefs, are pleading with you to facilitate the release of the autopsy reports. It holds great importance for our family, and we request your assistance in resolving this matter before the end of your term.
Is the presidency aware of the autopsy report? Listen to the interaction between President Akufo-Addo and Kuku Anyido.
If they hadn't raised the issue of the autopsy report as family, and a very legitimate family, it was something that I have stayed away from for very good reason, lest I am accused of, entering certain realms. But to answer your question straight away, so there was no autopsy report that anybody saw. Not me, not that I know was presented to anybody officially. And so we've lived with it for 11 years. We've entered the 12th year.
What is being suggested? No autopsy was done? Or there was a report which has not been...
That is the question. Honestly and frankly so, I've heard I heard in the early days, one of the siblings, and so Koko Anyido doesn't lie. The MP for KE, Samuel Atta Mills, in one of the various radio interviews, obviously trying to shoot down my importance in the whole scheme of things, said that he was given an autopsy report. How true, how untrue, I don't know. But otherwise, I don't think the Republic itself. And said the man actually passed on as the President of the Republic of Ghana. Yeah. And the Republic so buried him. And so if he has the autopsy report,
he should be
then he should tell us and bring it for us to see.
That's the official documentation.
Yeah, public record.
It should be part of the public record. Yeah. All right.
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
yes, sir.
Mate, now we'll have to find out how to proceed on that. But it's a legitimate demand. Family wanting to have someone who died in those circumstances. It's a legitimate demand. So we'll see. See what happens. Yeah. In Chakra, Abu Shabai, in Dawson, why? Yeah. The Queen Biasu, better make a view. Why? Better make a view.
But brother of the late President Samuel Atta Mills has this response.
What is the obsession about this autopsy report? If Kukwai Idoho would be minded, he used to work for President John Evans Atta Mills. Do you think the president was buried as in hay back, just like a chicken? Go to AMA. They have a copy of the autopsy report. They gave us a burial certificate. Go to 37 Military Hospital. There's a copy of the autopsy report over there. Those who perform the autopsies are still alive. I am not the one to give them a copy of it. Now, by the way, who are these imposter family members? How are they related to us? How can they be a family member of Professor John Evans Atta Mills? And I, the one who came from the same mother and the same father I'm not their relative. How? How come that whenever it gets to elections time involving President Mahama, then all these autopsy reports and everything come up? Look, NPP and Kukwai Idoho, if you don't have anything to campaign on, please leave the peaceful Professor John Evans Atta Mills to rest in peace. Now, when you see a beehive, it's peaceful. But when you keep on touching it with a stick, the bees will have to come out. And you, Kukwai Idoho, shamefully, you will see the bee if you want to. You are trying everything to profit from Professor John Evans Atta Mills. You use his name to set up a fake institute. Now you are not making any money, and now autopsy reports. Anybody with average intelligence knows that you cannot bury a president without an autopsy report.
But you have the president. But you have the president himself. He's unaware of any autopsy report. Was questioning whether there was one.
With all due respect, Mr. President, you are grossly misinformed. Just like you were misinformed about the Boss oil that was missing. Just the same way that you were misinformed about the Ameri deal. He's been misinformed about so many things. And unfortunately, he was misinformed by this Kukwai Idoho.
Well, that's all we have for you in this package of the polls. I'm Blessed Sugan. Log on to myjoyonline.com. Lots of stories there for you to catch up on. And that's all we have for you in the package. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.